Before all the meltdowns and all the headlines, Charlie Sheen was the star of TV's biggest sitcom. Alongside John Cryer and Angus T. Jones, 2.5 Men aired for 12 seasons from 2003 to 2015. And this is its entire story. It all starts with Charlie Harper, a jingle writer living the dream in his Malibu beach house. He makes good money writing songs, spends his days however he wants, and has basically zero responsibilities. But then, the phone rings. His younger brother Alan is on the other end, panicking because his wife of 12 years, Judith, just kicked him out. Alan asks if he can crash at Charlie's place for a few days. Yet, there's a small problem. He's already standing at the front door.
Oh, is she staying over? Because I may have parked behind her.
Yeah. He's that kind of guy. The exact opposite of Charlie. Responsible, awkward, and completely unlucky when it comes to everything. Charlie lets him in. The brothers haven't really kept in touch over the years. So when Alan mentions his 10-year-old son Jake, Charlie barely remembers the kid exists.
This could just destroy Jake.
Jake?
My son.
Yeah, teenagers are pretty sophisticated these days.
He's 10.
However, Alan is convinced this is just temporary. At this point, he was broken. But he wasn't broke just yet.
I was named Chiropractor of the Year by the San Fernando Valley Chiropractic Association.
Okay then, good night.
While Alan settles in, we meet someone else who will become a super important character, and that would be Rose. She shows up claiming to be Charlie's housekeeper, and Alan, not knowing any better, lets her in. But the truth is that Rose had a brief fling with Charlie, and instead of moving on like everyone else, she became obsessed with him. She breaks into his house, she watches him through the windows, and in his very first episode, she glues all his cabinets shut just to mess with him. Charlie treats her like a nuisance, something to be tolerated and ignored. He has absolutely no idea that years down the line, this woman will completely change his life. And we're also introduced to Alan's son Jake, and Charlie warms up to him fast when he realizes having a cute nephew around makes it easier to get girls. Then, their mother Evelyn drops by uninvited. She offers to let Alan and Jake stay with her instead, which sounds nice until you understand who Evelyn Harper actually is. She's a wealthy real estate agent who was never there for her sons growing up, and both brothers resent her for it. Later, Charlie and Jake bond over things Alan definitely wouldn't approve of, like poker games with Charlie's friends where they play for real money. When Alan finds out, he loses it and accepts Evelyn's offer. But the idea of Jake growing up under her influence just feels wrong. Charlie realizes this too, so he rescues them and even hands Alan a house key, meaning what was supposed to be just a few days is now officially something more permanent. But the adjustment period is far from smooth. When Alan leaves Charlie in charge of Jake while he runs errands, chaos follows immediately. Jake is supposed to be folding laundry as punishment, yet Charlie, being the fun uncle, ignores all of this and plays fun games with the kid instead. This soon backfires because Charlie never establishes himself as authority, so Jake starts leaving juice boxes on the piano, watches TV when he's not allowed, and feeds seagulls even after being told not to, resulting in many of those bastards occupying his room. Jake, realizing that he made a mistake, tries to apologize to Charlie, but he turns cold and refuses to love him back.
I'm really sorry.
We had an agreement, Jake, and you broke it.
I don't think Uncle Charlie likes me anymore.
Don't be silly. He's just a little upset about the 30, 40 screaming, crapping birds in his house.
Meanwhile, Alan keeps finding excuses to go back to Judy's house and help with stuff, convinced he can win her back if he just shows her how useful he is. But Judith quickly explains that their marriage is over, and Alan has to accept it. Back at the beach house, he explains to Charlie that parenting is difficult, and as punishment, elders may take away some privileges from the younger, but not their love. The seagulls finally leave Jake's room when they start feeling hungry. Now remember when I told you Rose pretended to be Charlie's housekeeper? Well, it's time we meet his actual housekeeper Berta, who just quit her job, as she only signed up to clean after one person, not 3.
You lied to me, Charlie. You said it was just going to be the two of us.
Don't leave me, Berta. I love you.
Plus, while Charlie never complained on how Berta ran things, Alan nagged about food items, laundry, cleanliness, and more. But Charlie feels hopeless without her, as he doesn't know anything about running the affairs of his house. Alan offers to take care of the household chores, yet Charlie immediately misses Berta, saying that the coffee she made tasted Christmassy.
What does that mean, Christmassy? What?
It means like Christmas.
Eventually, Ellen swallows his pride and goes to apologize to Berta in person. He finds her at another job and helps her with her chores, gives her a much-needed chiropractic adjustment, and finally convinces her to come back, on the condition that Ellen does his own laundry and buys his own groceries. What a deal. Judith finally makes things official and files for divorce. An episode after that, Ellen is devastated, but he hides it well. The real heart of the episode comes when he has to tell Jake that his parents are separating. Jake processes this and later shares his feelings with Charlie, who gives him surprisingly good advice. It's okay to feel sad, and your dad is hiding his own sadness to protect you. In return, Jake goes to comfort his father. While all this is going on, Jake is obviously growing up, and certain things are starting to catch his attention, specifically girls. When one of Charlie's surfer friends walks to the kitchen, Jake is amazed. This becomes a problem when Jake draws what he saw for a school assignment, and Judith is not happy about it. And if you're wondering what kind of person Judith is, that pretty much sums it up. Quick to blame, slow to forgive, and always ready to assume the worst about the people around her. But this time something unexpected happens. Instead of arguing, Judith starts opening up about her divorce struggles, and Charlie pretends to care just enough to keep the peace between them.
I expect you to clean up your act.
I understand.
I don't like coming over here and being the bad guy, but I have to protect my son.
I understand.
Soon Judith is calling the house to talk to Charlie instead of Ellen, which makes the younger brother confused. Yet things get even weirder when Judith befriends Charlie's surfer friends, and Ellen becomes convinced his ex-wife might be interested in women. Charlie suggests Ellen play it cool and be supportive, figuring if Judith isn't actually interested in women, his kindness might just win her back. Ellen takes the advice, talks to her about it, and she explodes with anger.
More power to you, sister.
You pompous, assuming bastard.
Uh-oh.
Ellen immediately says that it was Charlie's idea, causing Judith and Charlie's relations going down the drain again.
Hey, girlfriend.
Don't girlfriend me, you shallow piece of crap.
Now Charlie soon finds himself seeing a girl named Wendy. As she prepares to leave, Jake wants to go rollerblading. Wendy agrees to take him and says she can even make them dinner later, which Ellen likes, yet Charlie doesn't, because he didn't want a serious relationship with her.
Nice girl. Is it serious?
It is now, you dumbass.
The next morning, Charlie wakes up to find Wendy having coffee with Evelyn. He's convinced she's befriending his family, so they'll pressure him to keep her around. Meanwhile, Rose keeps showing up to hang out with Ellen, even though he's not into her. Charlie suspects Rose is only using his brother to get closer to him and warns Ellen to be careful. When Wendy eventually leaves, Jake is upset because they always had fun together. But when Charlie later runs into Wendy and discovers that she was just being polite the whole time she was at the house, he feels like a complete fool. Feeling guilty about misjudging people, he also says sorry to Rose for what he suggested about her to Ellen. But after Charlie leaves, Rose reveals to the audience that it was her intention to get close to Charlie by simply saying,
Phase 1 complete.
Still stinging from the Wendy situation, Charlie reaches out to an ex-girlfriend, Lisa, someone he truly had feelings for. He meets her at a coffee shop, hoping to rekindle things. But then she tells him she's getting married. Charlie panics and instantly comes up with a lie, telling her he's hosting a big family Thanksgiving dinner to prove he's changed. Now he has to make this dinner happen. So he pays Berta extra to cook on a holiday, pays Jake to say nice things about him, and invites everyone, including Judith, her parents, and even Evelyn.
Hey, you must be Jake.
My wonderful Uncle Charlie has opened his home to me and my father because we had nowhere else to go.
However, Lisa isn't stupid. She sees right through Charlie's act and leaves. Yet she does tell him something that sticks. If she ever gets divorced, he'll be the first one she calls. Kind of a weird thing to say before getting married, but okay. That is not cool. But speaking of cool, Charlie loses his cool when he discovers that none of his bills have been paid in months. His accountant confirms he's been spending way more than he earns, leaving him in serious debt.
You have a gardener. Why do you have a gardener?
To tend my garden?
Garden? You mean the 2 potted palms on the deck?
Ellen runs the numbers and tells him he needs to make some major lifestyle changes if he wants to dig himself out of this hole. Yet Charlie would rather ask for help than live like that. So he goes to Evelyn for a loan, who says yes, but when she offers to take the brothers out for dinner, Charlie rips up the check, knowing she'll constantly want favors in return. Then Rose magically shows up with a cashier's check since she apparently owns 16% of her father's bank. Charlie doesn't want charity from his stalker, but Rose frames it as a favor between friends, and in the end, he takes the money. However, after Charlie leaves the room, Rose smiles devilishly because every favor she does for him, every kind gesture, every time she helps Charlie, it ties him closer to her. He just doesn't see it yet. Not long after the money situation settles down, something else happens that nobody saw coming. A woman chooses Ellen over Charlie. Her name is Frankie, and they run into her in a parking lot where she is destroying her shrink's car after he told her she had anger issues.
Is this your car?
Do I look crazy to you?
So of course, Charlie is instantly interested. But Frankie actually connects with Ellen, and Charlie, just like the rest of us, is genuinely shocked, because this has never happened before. Over the next few days, Frankie opens up about her difficult life, and one night they share a kiss that makes Ellen cry.
It's been so long since anybody's touched me.
But Frankie tells him her life is too messy right now, so she's moving on to Seattle to start fresh. They part ways, and Ellen is left with the memory of what could have been. Ellen's emotional state doesn't get much of a break, because soon after Frankie leaves, he and Judith have to sit down and work out what happens to Jake if both parents were to pass away. In the heat of an argument, Ellen blurts out that Jake would go to Charlie. But here's the thing, Ellen was just kidding, trying to upset Judith, and when Charlie finds out he wasn't really chosen to be Jake's guardian, he's a little hurt by it.
Charlie, you're a great uncle. You're there for all the fun stuff, but I don't think you're up to the hard work of being a full-time parent to Jake.
Then fate intervenes. Charlie's left alone with Jake playing basketball, and the kid falls and hits his head badly enough for a hospital visit. Charlie handles everything perfectly, rushing Jake to the ER, filling out paperwork, getting him treated and home safely. When Ellen sees how responsibly Charlie handled it, he has a change of heart and officially updates the documents so that if anything ever happens to both parents, Charlie will be the one to take care of Jake. And how does Charlie thank Ellen for that? By fooling around with Ellen's divorce attorney Laura, despite being warned not to. She seems competent at first, but that all goes out the window when Charlie shows interest in her assistant as well down the line. Laura takes revenge out on Ellen and his settlements, giving Judith practically everything. The book collection, the massage chair, the retirement funds.
Okay, what else would you like?
What else? Judith, for God's sakes, remember there was a time when you loved me!
Ellen fires her and has to start the whole divorce process over. And when he asks why she sabotaged him like she did, she just says, ask Charlie. Ellen comes home looking for an explanation, but Charlie takes one look at his brother's face and runs away scared. This is also how the first season of 2.5 Men ends, and the second season picks up with Ellen discovering that Judith is dating Herb, Jake's pediatrician.
Oh, Ellen.
His first instinct is jealousy, of course, but Charlie points out that if Judith remarries, Ellen's alimony payments end, and suddenly Herb doesn't seem so bad. Ellen acts quickly now. He tries to befriend him, even offers him a shoulder massage, but when Judith walks in, Ellen panics and accidentally injures Herb's neck. Ouch. Meanwhile, Jake gets in trouble for giving his 5th grade teacher, Miss Pasternak, the finger, so Charlie charms her to save him from suspension, and they end up dating until he realizes she's crazy.
Somebody told me that we belong together.
Really? It can't be somebody who knows me.
When Charlie's about to break it off on the phone, Ellen begs him not to, because Jake's grades suddenly improve, even though all of his answers are wrong, which tells you everything about how stable she is.
I think you know what you have to do.
Break up with Miss Pasternak, right?
Hell no, he's getting A's. He hasn't gotten an A since nap time in kindergarten.
So Charlie goes to break it off with Miss Pasternak in person. When he tricks her by saying he's gonna go to the bathroom, he makes a run for it. Upset that Charlie ditched her, she punishes Jake by giving him and his class double the homework, which results in both Jake and Ellen being mad at Charlie. Understandable, but Charlie did the right thing. Next week, things get complicated for Alan when Herb starts teaching Jake things that Alan himself doesn't know how to do, making him feel that he's falling short as a father.
My son likes Judith's boyfriend better than me.
Yeah, I don't even know him, and I like him better than you.
To one-up his competition, Alan and Charlie teach Jake to drive using Evelyn's electric car. Near the end of the episode, Judith and Alan share a kiss as old feelings seem to resurface. But when Jake and Charlie see them, whatever spark they might have existed instantly disappears when Alan does this. Charlie's love life takes a funny turn when he meets Sherry, a woman who's different from his usual type, because she's always busy and distant. Rose helps Charlie see that Sherry is basically a female version of him, self-centered, manipulative, and not willing to commit.
Oh my God.
What?
I'm dating myself.
Once he figures that out, Charlie ends things by doing exactly what she always did to him.
I've got to get home. I got an early meeting.
What?
Beat you to it this time, didn't I?
But remember Lisa, the ex who said she'd call if she got divorced? Well, she's divorced now and has a baby, so she reaches out to Charlie. Lisa agrees to a dinner date, though she makes it clear that her child is the priority now and everything else comes second. Charlie says that he's a changed man and that he's ready for something serious, so we're just lying now? Then Lisa leaves him alone with the baby for a bit, and the diaper situation alone defeats him completely, and he's soon overwhelmed in ways he never expected. Lisa calls him out on it, telling him he's doing what he always does, running away when things get tough and require some actual effort.
Oh, just leave, Charlie. It's what you do best.
Charlie leaves without much to say. Some people just aren't to change, no matter how badly they want to. And Charlie's starting to realize he might be one of them.
I don't think it's gonna work out.
Really? Even with the little baby there to help smooth things along?
Some time goes by, and an earthquake damages Judy's house, so she temporarily moves into Charlie's, and when Alan sees her get ready for a date with another man, he gets extremely jealous. So Charlie sets him up with an attractive younger woman, with the only goal being to get back at Judith.
You have such beautiful skin for the mother of an 11-year-old. Well, thank you.
And well, the plan works.
I just hope I look half as good as her when I'm that old.
I'm betting you will.
Judith is jealous, and she storms out.
Jake, say goodbye to Mommy! She's going home!
Even after their divorce and everything, neither of them has really moved on. Things go back to normal for a bit, until Charlie's gay client Eric invites him to a party. But Charlie previously told him he was engaged to avoid an awkward situation, so now he needs Alan to play his fake partner.
I don't know how you live with yourself.
I don't live with myself. I have a significant other. And we're both invited to a cocktail party Saturday night.
And Alan really commits to the role. Maybe even a little too much. The next day, Charlie can't convince Eric's ex-wife he actually likes women, and when he gets home, he finds Eric trying to make a move on Alan. Oh no, Charlie pretends he's offended and uses the circumstances to his advantage.
How could you possibly make up for this incredible betrayal?
I'll get you more money.
Done. I'll get out.
For now, everything still works in Charlie's favor. However, eventually, he'll have to leave the jingle world behind and reinvent himself. In the very next episode, a freak accident with toast injures Alan's eye.
You said throw me a piece of toast. I threw you a piece of toast.
Charlie takes him to the doctor and then the coffee shop, where they bump into Charlie's ex-love interest, Sherry. While there, Alan tries his luck with Sherry, then gets embarrassed in front of everyone, yet he still manages to somehow land a date. A few days later, just as they were about to have fun at her place, Alan discovers that Sherry still keeps loads of stuff Charlie bought her, which weirds him out and he can't stop talking about it. This makes Sherry end things by, funnily enough, tossing him a CD Charlie left, hitting his other eye. Poor Alan, eh? But now we have Squab 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 Squab, our fan favorite and one of the highest rated episodes of the show. I tried not to include the episodes that don't really move the story forward, but this one is just too good to pass up on. It all starts when Evelyn demands some quality time with Jake after hearing he spent a week with Judy's parents.
He goes to visit his other grandparents. He should come to visit me.
So you want to spend a week with him?
A week? Alan, I do have a life.
Ellen and Charlie both know this is going to be an absolute disaster, given how Evelyn is with children. So they spend the whole day spoiling Jake to prepare him for the night ahead. Once he gets there, everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Jake tries sushi for the first time and spits it out on the carpet, then accidentally eats wasabi. Evelyn tries to recover by making something more kid-friendly, but when she brings in spaghetti, Jake jumps out from behind the couch to scare her and she drops the whole plate on his head. He goes to take a bath to wash off but leaves the water running, which floods the bathroom so badly that the floor breaks and water comes crashing down on Evelyn. The brothers take Jake back home and sit back in amazement at what just happened. In one single evening, Jake caused more chaos and destruction for Evelyn than the two of them managed to create in their entire childhoods combined. They look at him with newfound respect and call him the chosen one.
Squab, squab. Squab, 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 squab.
Stop it!
Sorry. Squab.
Season 3 begins with Alan doing something nobody expected. He's been secretly seeing Judith again. Charlie finds out and tries everything to stop him, even bringing in Rose, Evelyn and Berta to talk some sense into his brother. But Alan ignores them all. He and Judith maintain their usual cold routine in front of Jake while planning to meet up behind closed doors.
Damn it, Alan.
Okay, he's gone.
I was thinking about you last night.
But as anyone could have predicted, they get into another argument just like they used to while married, and Alan finally decides he's done with her for good. But a week later, it seems that he's also done with Charlie for good, because when Berta asks if she can stay at the beach house while her brother is going through detox, and Alan says yes without asking Charlie first, Berta immediately takes over Alan's room, forcing him to bunk with Jake. And Charlie is furious that he wasn't consulted.
In my house, what you think, what you want, what you say, doesn't mean squat.
Having overheard their arguments, Berta starts stirring the pot on purpose, telling Alan he deserves better while encouraging Charlie to demand more respect. All because she wants to become the live-in housekeeper. Alan angrily moves out and goes apartment hunting with Evelyn, but the place he finds is horrible, and it doesn't take long before he's begging Charlie to let him come back. And of course, Charlie does. Oh, and it turns out Berta doesn't even have a brother. Yet when Charlie starts dating a strange woman who worships Satan, that's when the show really gets hilarious. Definitely one of my favorite episodes. Alan finds the girl creepy, as he should. I mean, look at those tattoos. And when she discovers this, she puts a spell on him that causes his eye to twitch. She later takes Charlie to a party where her friends try to convince him to sell his soul to the devil. The next day, we see she did some damage to Charlie too, and he doesn't know what to do.
You need to cut Isabella loose.
I can't do that.
Why not?
Because together we shall spawn a child named Giglamash, and he shall bring forth a new age of darkness.
Everyone in the house is now scared of her. Everyone, that is, apart from Evelyn, who knows the girl and tells her to leave the boys alone. Will Charlie ever meet someone normal? Oh yes, he will. And he does in the episode That Voodoo That I Do. But after meeting Mia, the ballet teacher, Charlie faces a huge obstacle. She wants nothing to do with him.
So,
Go away.
Or is just playing hard to get. I don't know. Yet this only makes him more determined. Desperate to get closer to her, he bribes Jake into taking ballet lessons at her studio so he has an excuse to keep showing up. The problem is that Jake develops a crush on Mia too, which creates an awkward competition between uncle and nephew. However, after a few weeks of persistence, Charlie finally breaks through Mia's defenses and gets her to go out with him. Jake is not happy about it.
what are you doing up?
Why shouldn't I be up?
Oh, isn't it a little past your bedtime?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a bedtime.
But Charlie doesn't care. For the first time in a long time, he's actually interested in someone for more than just one night. While Charlie's busy chasing Mia, Ellen somehow bonds with Charlie's rich, elderly neighbor Norma. She and Charlie never got along, but she takes a liking to Ellen. After dinner and a gala together, Norma makes him an offer. Have a fling with her and she'll buy him a building in Beverly Hills with his name on it. You know, like his own chiropractic center or something. Ellen gives in, but Norma passes away right after. When he tells Charlie, it turns out Norma made him the same offer years ago with a piano instead of a building. Yet Charlie only needed one piano, and she hated him ever since. At the same time, Charlie and Mia's relationship hits a wall. Before they sleep together, she wants to really get to know him. After weeks of waiting, Charlie suggests that maybe they should be allowed to see other people while they're together, and Mia instantly breaks up with him. Charlie sinks into a mild depression, and when Jake can't cheer him up, Ellen steps in to help him win Mia back. That doesn't work either, so Charlie decides to move on and starts seeing a 22-year-old Candy, who has nothing in common with him. But just as things are heating up there, Mia shows up in Malibu, wanting to get back together. Charlie dumps Candy on the spot, and he and Mia finally start a real committed relationship. This is a big deal for Charlie. He's never done this before.
I don't want to be with anybody but you, so I might as well be committed.
Some time goes by and Mia tells Charlie that since Candy has been calling him non-stop, he needs to let her know he can't see her anymore. Charlie pretends to handle it, but what actually happens is that Ellen runs off with Candy instead.
Don't cry. I'm sure you'll find someone else. Bye-bye!
After apologizing and briefly meeting her parents, Charlie takes Mia to an expensive hotel. But the evening doesn't go great either. On the other side of town, Ellen spends the night with Candy and asks her out the next morning with Charlie's blessing. She says yes. So now we have Ellen dating Candy and Charlie dating Mia. But dating Mia meant Charlie had to keep up with her healthy lifestyle. Morning runs, protein shakes, no fast food, cigars or alcohol. Charlie wasn't ready for any of it. But he tries. No, he really does. For about 15 minutes. But he can't do it. I mean, like, who are we kidding? So he starts sneaking his old habits behind Mia's back.
Oh, thank God, meat! I love you, Rose.
However, she eventually finds out during a dinner where Charlie snaps and lets out all his frustration. He is not willing to change. She breaks up with him permanently. So much for his first real relationship, huh? We know that Ellen is seeing Candy now, but it quickly becomes clear that he learned nothing from his first marriage and divorce, because he's making the dumbest financial decisions of his life. He starts paying all of Candy's bills, which means he can afford to pay Judith's alimony. Charlie watches Ellen struggle with a growing pile of debt, even breaking Jake's piggy bank, plus taking a second job as a pizza delivery guy. Charlie helps out by telling Judith that Ellen is struggling without mentioning the reason. Judith actually feels sorry for Ellen and gives him a fat check. But then she finds out he bought his girlfriend a new car, and Ellen gives up and just rips up the check right in front of her face.
I love the new car you got me. Hi, Mrs. Harper. Doesn't he look cute in a mustache?
To make things even worse, at the end of the episode, Candy mentions she can't afford rent anymore because her roommates moved out. So Ellen asks her to move in with him at Charlie's house, without asking Charlie. This is gonna be fun. But what's going on with Jake all this time? Well, he gets invited to his first boy-girl party by a girl named Wendy Cho, and he's nervous about it. Ellen and Charlie help him get ready with new clothes and a haircut. Plus, Jake finds Charlie's advice way more helpful than his dad's, which upsets Ellen. He complains that Charlie was never there for him when he was younger. Boo-hoo. Later, Jake calls from the party to say things are going well, and Ellen starts worrying that Jake is going to turn out exactly like Charlie. But then Jake comes home and says he wants to marry Wendy Cho. And Charlie laughs, because that's the most Ellen thing he's ever heard. Jake is definitely becoming more like his father. Meanwhile, Mia returns to town with her dance troupe and invites Charlie to her performance. He decides not to go and tries to convince Ellen that he's completely over her, but he's not.
I think she called the other day.
What? When? What did she want? What did she say? Come on, kid, spill it!
No unresolved feelings there.
So he goes to the show after all, and afterward, Mia asks to speak with him privately. She reveals that she wants Charlie to be her sperm donor and promises to raise the kid alone. Charlie thinks about it, but instead of saying yes, he does something else. He asks Mia to marry him, and she says yes. What? Charlie and Mia start planning their wedding with Alan's help, but things fall apart fast when their two families meet for dinner and the whole thing becomes a disaster. We can probably thank Evelyn for that. After a heated argument, they decide to skip the big ceremony and go to Las Vegas instead. But right before they say their vows, Mia drops a bombshell. She wants Alan to move out to make room for a nursery.
Alan's moving out?
Of course he is. Isn't he?
Charlie refuses to kick out his brother, and just like that, the wedding is off. But the night isn't over yet, not for Alan at least, who successfully proposes to Candy using Charlie's ring and announces he'll be moving out of Charlie's house anyway, not knowing that Charlie literally just lost a girl that was marriage material because of him.
Cheer up, Charlie. You're finally getting what you always wanted. I'm moving out of your house.
I don't freaking believe it.
Season 3 ends with Alan heading off to start a new life with Candy. And what about Charlie? Will he ever get as close to marrying someone? Things are about to get very interesting. Well, in the first episode of Season 4, it's been exactly 4 months since Alan and Candy got married in Vegas. And we find out they actually won $500,000 at the casino that night. Sounds like a fresh start for Alan's life, right? You would be wrong. Candy kicks Alan out of their new condo, and because Alan never put his name on the deed and didn't keep the money for himself, he loses everything. He shows up at Charlie's house looking for a place to stay, only to find a massive party going on. Yeah, I guess Charlie was still celebrating having his bachelor lifestyle back.
I gotta tell you, buddy, things haven't been the same around here since you left.
That's nice, but...
Yeah, they've been way better.
But of course, Charlie takes Alan in again. He is such a good brother. Yet Alan is now paying alimony to 2 ex-wives. Plus, his divorce from Candy gets messy when they fight over custody of their dog. Alan breaks into her apartment using his old key, but the alarm goes off and he gets arrested. But because Candy went on a vacation to, I think it was Mexico, Alan gets a small win when he's told he can take care of the dog until she returns. But it's not all bad for Alan, because his dream of financial freedom is finally within reach. You see, Judith is about to marry the pediatrician Herb, which means his alimony payments to her will end.
5, 6, 7, 8. No more alimony.
There's just one problem. Jake wants nothing to do with Herb and even took a bus across LA just to get away from him. That's kinda wild. Alan has to bribe Jake into accepting Herb as his stepdad by focusing on the material advantages of having a real doctor in the family. Once that's handled, Charlie and Alan take Herb out for drinks to ease the mood. The night escalates into a bachelor party at the beach house with women dancing on the deck while Charlie films everything so he can later blackmail him if he were to chicken out of the wedding. Unfortunately for Alan, his brother accidentally recorded with Herb's phone, and when they bring him home to Judith, she watches the whole video.
Hey, Herb! Attaboy! You dumb bastard.
Yikes. Herb is not off to a great start with his future wife. And Charlie's not off to a great start after losing Mia when it comes to relationships, because he starts dating Lydia. Now Lydia, in short, is exactly like Evelyn.
Charlie, don't be snide.
And stand up straight. This is so weird.
She makes her entrance insulting people and hurting everyone's feelings, treating her own 2 sons the same way Evelyn treated Charlie and Alan when they were younger. Everyone can see the resemblance except Charlie, who keeps denying it until the truth becomes too painful to ignore.
Do you always have to embarrass me? What are you laughing at? You're no prize either.
Lydia's rude attitude eventually puts her at odds with Berta, and they both give Charlie an ultimatum. You have to choose one of us. So Charlie lies to both, telling Berta he broke up with Lydia and telling Lydia he fired Berta. However, when he takes Lydia to his room, Berta walks out of the bathroom and both women leave.
Goodbye, Charlie.
Oh, come on, Berta, don't go. I'll do anything.
I'm leaving now.
You don't have to. I just fired her.
Bye, Charlie.
Berta comes back later, of course. Charlie pays good, you know? Ellen, on the other hand, doesn't pay for anything. And Charlie's about to find out just how far that goes. The two go on a double date, and when the check arrives, Ellen rushes to the bathroom to avoid paying. That's a new low for him, by the way. Charlie won't let him get away with it though, and follows him in. Ellen then wastes like 20 minutes, and when they return to the table, the waiter informs them their date's left with another dude who took care of the check as well. Charlie is upset, missing out on a fun night, but Ellen is cheerful now that he got a free dinner. Back at home, they get into a fight about it, and that's when Charlie discovers something ugly. A hidden stack of $5,000 in Ellen's room. And I say ugly because Ellen has been saving cash whenever patients pay him directly, hiding it away for his future because he knows he won't be able to depend on Jake when he's old. This is the same guy who never pays for anything, never contributes to rent, never picks up a check, and constantly acts like he's completely broke.
I don't freaking believe it.
Charlie wants revenge at first, but then he realizes that if Ellen has no money saved, he'll be stuck living with Charlie forever. So he gives it back. But now we know the truth. Ellen has been playing the victim while secretly saving cash. And as the seasons go on, his financial desperation is only going to get worse. A couple weeks later, Rose tells Charlie she's moving to London because of her family's business interest there. Charlie doesn't believe her at all. He thinks it's another one of her manipulation tactics to get him to confess his feelings. So he decides to play along, tells her he loves her, expecting her to drop the act.
Charlie, you came to say goodbye.
Unbelievable. You're gonna play this all the way out to the end.
But then a taxi shows up. Rose gives him their first restraining order as a framed gift and heads to the airport. Charlie walks over to her house and sees it's empty. There's nothing there. She was telling the truth. Rose is actually gone. For now anyway. But knowing Rose, she has a way of showing up exactly when you least expect her. Just wait. Around this time, Charlie is naturally rather pleased Jake is slipping into puberty. Unlike Ellen, who gets nostalgic about his baby boy growing up. Ellen decides to take Jake camping for a father-son experience. But the trip is a disaster. Drowned in rain and teenage boredom. Back home, Ellen tells Candy, who is auditioning for a TV show, that he reconsidered the one thing that broke them up. He wants another kid to keep on fathering. But when she finds out that she won the role, she changes her mind on having children and leaves for her acting career. At least there's some good news coming Ellen's way. Judith and Herb got married. Ellen's alimony payments finally end. Yay! And the good news don't stop there, because Charlie and Ellen suddenly see Evelyn with a new man named Teddy, a successful businessman who seems genuinely kind. At first, Charlie refuses to get attached because Evelyn's partners have a tendency to disappear, dead or alive. But Ellen is immediately won over when Teddy invites them on his private jet to see a boxing match in Vegas. When Charlie finally gives Teddy a chance, both brothers agree he's exactly the stepdad they always wanted. But here's the thing about Teddy. Something doesn't quite add up. He's almost too perfect, too generous, too eager to be part of the family. And he has a daughter named Courtney, who we haven't met yet. But when we do, it's gonna get crazy. Season 5 opens with Jake getting ready to start junior high, which should be exciting, except Ellen decides to prepare him by sharing every horror story from his own school days. He talks about the bullying, the embarrassment, the social disaster, and by the time he's done, Jake is so terrified that he doesn't even show up for his first day of school. Great job, Ellen. Amazing. An episode later, Charlie gets dragged to one of Evelyn's real estate firm parties, and surprisingly, it brings them closer together. However, Charlie has a fling with Margaret, who he met at a party against Evelyn's orders.
The woman's husband is one of my biggest clients.
Oh, Mom!
Please, I'm not asking as your mother. I'm asking as your friend.
But she firmly takes this into an advantage. Evelyn anticipates Charlie will break his promise and tips off Margaret's husband, knowing he'll catch her cheating.
Where the hell should I go?
Out the window.
Are you crazy? I'm not going out the window.
He's an ex-Marine.
I'm going out the window.
The resulting divorce forces a quick home sale, which Evelyn secures as the listing agent, turning Charlie's mistake into her commission.
And she's not just my realtor, she's my friend.
Oh, Mom. Ellen then convinces Charlie to start dating more respectable women and sets him up with a judge who goes by the name of Linda. The two double date and things don't go too well, with Charlie unexperienced about dating women of his age. Yet he's desperate for another chance, so he goes to extreme lengths to see Linda again, including getting himself arrested just to appear in her courtroom. To be honest, I never expected Charlie to show such determination.
Please tell me you did not get yourself arrested just so you could see me.
You got me.
And things get interesting when Charlie spots a woman in a red wig walking a dog near Linda's place. She looks exactly like Rose, who supposedly moved to England months ago. Charlie brushes it off, but later he finds an old letter from Rose talking about how happy she is in London. Berta notices him reading it and points out that he never threw it away, telling him Rose was the only girl that was always there for him. However, Charlie insists he's committed to Linda now. That weekend, Charlie and Linda go to a hotel, and a room service employee with a weird accent and a black wig shows up with complimentary champagne.
Do you want my open?
No, thank you.
Okay, good night.
It looks suspiciously like Rose again. Confused, Charlie visits his psychiatrist, who diagnoses him with Peter Pan syndrome, explaining that he's using an imaginary Rose to sabotage his adult relationship with Linda because commitment terrifies him. The solution is to grow up, but Charlie responds by flying to London to find Rose. When he gets to her apartment, they go out for a beer, but as she closes the door behind her, we see a suitcase and multiple wigs sitting inside. At the pub, Charlie mentions he's seeing someone his own age, completely misunderstanding his therapist's advice, and tells Rose that Linda isn't good for him. Rose interprets this as Charlie wanting marriage and kids with her, so she asks for a committed relationship, scaring Charlie back to California as he is already in one. Back in Malibu, Charlie hasn't had a paying job in 9 months. The financial situation gets so bad that Ellen becomes a guinea pig for experimental drugs to bring in some money, which causes some nasty side effects. Charlie then shows us that he's really good with kids while babysitting Linda's 4-year-old son. He comes up with catchy jingles to help the kid behave well and records a CD for him so that he can listen to it again at home.
Who cut the cheese? Who cut the cheese? I ask you please, did you cut the cheese?
And this right here would change Charlie's life forever, because Linda's ex-husband, who works in the music business, hears them, and our boy Charles lands a big job writing children's music. Meanwhile, due to the stuff Alan took, he lost hair, got nausea, and red dots all over his body, so in the end, it was all for nothing. And Charlie's gig takes off. He brands himself as Charlie Waffles, a children's singing sensation, complete with TV appearances and fat paychecks. Alan and Jake barely care about his success at first, yet when the money starts rolling in, Alan gets so jealous. The only catch, Charlie's manager wants him to perform live, which triggers his fear of performing on stage. His solution is, as always, to get completely wasted before his show, and it still works. The kids love him anyway, and Alan becomes even more jealous. But unfortunately, the Linda relationship doesn't survive much longer. Before a function where she's being crowned Judge of the Year, Evelyn gives Charlie a pill that calms you down.
Uh-oh.
Well, not really, because it turns out to be the wrong pill, and therefore he acts crazy at the function, embarrassing her in front of the crowds.
You the judge!
Meanwhile, Jake sneaks out to attend a rock concert after Ellen forbade him to, and finds a furious Ellen back home waiting for him, along with Charlie, whom Linda dumped because of the events. But while Charlie's getting dumped, Evelyn is getting engaged to Teddy, and at their party, the brothers finally meet his daughter Courtney. Teddy makes Charlie promise to stay away from her, but Charlie, being Charlie, soon breaks that promise. When he realizes Evelyn and Teddy are downstairs, Courtney Courtney blackmails him into buying a Ferrari from her dealership so she gets the commission in order to keep their affair secret. Teddy later warns Charlie that he knows what's going on and that this was just the beginning.
I'm not going to say anything to your mother about you and Courtney. They don't get along.
Okay, great. Wait. You knew? How did you know?
By the way, if you were wondering what's happening to Alan during this stretch of the show, well, nothing goes right for him. He keeps getting into arguments with Charlie over his place in the house, his relationships fall apart almost immediately, and every time he thinks he's found someone, it blows up in his face. The guy just can't catch a break. Oh yeah, and Rose returns from England. But Charlie's not dating her. Actually, Charlie shouldn't be dating anyone at this point in my opinion, because his lifestyle is reaching new extremes, with even bloody noses from angry husbands failing to slow him down. Also, Evelyn and Teddy's wedding day arrives. Ellen becomes the wedding planner and discovers that Teddy waived the prenup, meaning Evelyn is about to become very rich. Charlie finds Courtney upset because she's lost her job, is about to lose her apartment, and Teddy for some reason won't do nothing about it. So Charlie offers her $50,000 to help out. The ceremony goes ahead. At the reception, Charlie and Courtney head upstairs to his room, where they discover Teddy's body, and he is not breathing. Charlie tells Ellen, who immediately suspects Evelyn, but Charlie points out she already married him, so why would she bother? The police arrive and take everyone in for questioning. When it's Courtney's turn, she simply asks for a lawyer. Here's where everything unravels. The investigators discover that Teddy was actually Nathan Crunk, and Courtney was Sylvia Fishman. Plus, they're not father and daughter. They are con artists who travel the country scamming people with more money than brains. Teddy had a heart attack while with Courtney, yet as she's taken into custody, Charlie still says,
Courtney!
What?
I'll wait for you.
Oh man. What is going on in his head? After that whole Courtney disaster, you'd think Charlie would be more careful about women trying to scam him. Well, think again. At a coffee shop, he runs into Chrissy, whom he dated years ago, who has a son named Chuck that looks suspiciously like him and apparently also plays the piano. That evening, Charlie is contemplating about Chuck. When he falls asleep on his deck, he dreams of father-son moments he could have with him. In the dream, when Charlie and Chuck arrive home, they're greeted by a bunch of other kids Charlie fathered also. Comedy. When he wakes up, he starts wondering if he actually has a kid out there and offers to send his mom money every month. But on his way out, he crosses a woman that turns out to be Chuck's real mother.
Jeremy, your mom's here. Hi, honey.
Hey, where'd you get that shirt?
Chrissy was only babysitting Chuck and dressed him in a bowling shirt in order to fool Charlie into thinking the kid was his. And with her new check at hand, she decides that her babysitting days are officially over.
I think my babysitting days are behind me. Ciao!
However, speaking of women causing problems, Charlie drives Ellen to work one day because Ellen's Volvo is in the shop.
Wait a minute. How are you getting back to Malibu?
I was hoping, Charlie.
Take the bus.
There's no bus from Tarzana to Malibu?
Arrive at the office, Charlie meets Ellen's receptionist, Melissa.
Hello, Melissa.
The younger brother wants him to stay away because she's a great employee, and if Charlie ruins things, she'll most likely quit. Charlie ignores him completely. Alan finally makes Charlie leave. He does, but makes the suggestion to pick up Alan later that day in order for him to see Melissa again, even after being super resistant to the idea earlier.
Oh, you'll see me tonight when I come back to pick up your boss.
Oh, no, Charlie, you don't have to make that long drive. I'll take the bus.
By that evening, Melissa is at his beach house, and by the weekend, she's staying over. Yet on Monday morning, she storms out upset because Charlie suggested they slow down and see other people. Now Ellen has to deal with the fallout. Melissa demands a raise, paid vacation, and health insurance, and Ellen agrees to everything just to keep her from quitting. He also agrees when Judith wants him to take take care of Jake for 3 whole months. Turns out, Judith and Herb have been fighting constantly, and Herb actually stood up for himself, which got him kicked out. Ellen goes to console Judith, and one thing leads to another. They end up doing you know what, and afterwards, Judith asks why she ever let him go. She says she was wrong about him and that she'll never let him go again. This kind of terrifies Ellen. He tells Charlie about it the next day, and Charlie's confused why Ellen isn't happy. They agree to keep it from Jake by pretending they're considering sending him to military school, which scares Jake into doing whatever they want. Later, Herb invites Charlie out with some woman, but Herb ends up crying and leaving to declare his love for Judith. She takes him back after another argument with Ellen, reminds her why she divorced him in the first place. Now listen to this. A few weeks later, Judith and Herb drop off Jake, who tells them that his grades aren't good enough for military school, and more importantly...
No, sweetheart, the other thing.
Oh, I'm gonna have a little brother or sister.
Leaving Ellen speechless.
You're pregnant?
Yes, Alan. Herb and I are going to have a baby.
Now some good news. Charlie finds him an actual good woman, Chelsea. But after a full month of dating, she asks him to spend the night at her place for the first time, which puts Charlie way outside his comfort zone. He can't sleep because everything is wrong. For starters, his place is on the incorrect side of bed, plus the neighborhood is quite loud. He tries to sneak out, but steps on a cat, which screams and wakes her up. Chelsea kicks him out, but Charlie talks his way into a second chance. Eventually, Chelsea agrees to just stay at his place from now on. While Charlie's figuring out his new relationship, Jake is navigating one of his own. He catches the eye of Celeste, who just moved in next door. Her father is Jerome Burnett, a former NFL player nicknamed Mad Dog. He says if anything happens to his daughter, Charlie's in trouble.
That boy touches my daughter, I'm gonna be touching you.
And when the kids don't return from their beach walk on time, Jerome shows up at Charlie's, furious. But he slowly but surely manages to calm him down. He also gives some great advice, which Jerome applies and later comes back to apologize, realizing that he overreacted and is happy because Celeste told him she actually likes Jake a lot. But wait, there's more good news for Jake when Evelyn offers to pay for his college education and promises him a new car if his grades improve. Alan figures he can just coast at Charlie's house forever now, since he has no compelling reason to work anymore.
I'm just trying to figure out why I need to go to work today.
For your self-respect?
Nah, Judith got that in the divorce.
Charlie suggests Alan pay rent, but the amount that would give him any say in the house is too high for him. Meanwhile, Jake discovers a hidden talent for cooking. He makes Evelyn a delicious panini with homemade potato chips, though the chips burn down her kitchen and the fire department has to show up. Just when things seem to be going well, reality hits hard. One of Charlie's old party buddies, Andy, passes away in front of him. This shakes Charlie badly, and he starts reevaluating his entire lifestyle. He tells everyone in his life how much he cares about them, except Ellen. At the funeral, Charlie begins to worry about his own life, and Ellen tells him there has always been one person in his life on whom he can depend. And Charlie thinks he means Rose. Charlie then takes every medical test he can, and when the results come back positive, he has to let down a very happy Rose, who he was just about to propose to.
Oh boy, this is awkward.
She walks away disappointed, but something tells me this isn't the last time Rose will be waiting for a ring from Charlie. After all that heavy stuff, Alan finds himself in an unexpected circumstance. He starts sensing some feelings between himself and Melissa, the same receptionist Charlie dated earlier. The feelings are mutual. Alan feels guilty and says they can't do this, but Melissa tells him she aches for him. He goes to her place, where he then meets her mother Shelley, who is a little odd. Let's just say that. Let me explain. Melissa throws Alan a surprise 40th birthday party, convinced his fam doesn't appreciate him. She forces Evelyn to co-host, and everyone is invited to say something nice about Alan. They try, but there aren't many positives they find about him, so he ends up just getting insulted.
I want to thank you all for coming to celebrate this wonderful occasion.
I thought it was Alan's birthday.
Melissa lives in anger and insists Alan moves in with her and her unstable mother Shelley. At first, they spoil him, but then Shelley's special banana cake seduces Alan into her bed. Melissa kicks him out and he crawls back to Charlie, who admits he actually missed him a little.
I'm back.
I'm shocked.
Jake, however, didn't even notice he was gone.
Told you he'd be back.
Who?
Everything's back to normal in Malibu. Except Charlie is now running into relationship problems with Chelsea, who thinks he hasn't really changed from his old ways. Panicking, Charlie suggests couple counseling, and Chelsea is really glad he recommended that. But she won't be glad when Alan takes advantage of the situation, feeding Charlie false info about Chelsea and telling him he's supposed to bring gifts to therapy sessions.
Happy first day of counseling.
I brought a present.
Yeah. Isn't that the protocol?
No.
That could only happen because Charlie was still his old self and never really listened to Chelsea that much, so he didn't know much about her.
Where does she come from?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Davenport, Iowa.
And how's your family back in Davenport, Iowa?
I'm from Champaign, Illinois.
Bastard set me up.
Out of frustration, he turns to comfort food and even starts stealing Jake's desserts. However, I'm not sure how, but couples counseling actually worked, because Charlie, to his own surprise, one day says "I love you" to Chelsea, yet she doesn't say it back.
I love you, Chelsea.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Oof. After his therapist fails to help, Charlie realizes he actually meant it, and the only way to restore the balance of power is to propose to her and get her to say "I love you" back. Talk about desperation, eh? Well, it works, but he did need to put the ring in her wine glass because Chelsea then accidentally swallowed it and got mad. But still, it worked. She said "I love you" too. And when Chelsea sleazes up, he and Charlie agree they should live together. Yet once the moving process begins, Charlie is annoyed with Chelsea changing things. And Alan is annoyed at having her spare stuff in his room. I would be mad too. Season 6 ends with one of those chaotic days that only the Harpers can pull off. Herb and a very pregnant Judith come to pick up Jake. But Judith's water breaks right there in the living room. Herb slips on it and breaks his ankle, and everyone rushes to the hospital. Alan is surprised to find Melissa working there, since she quit his office after the incident with her mother. They reconnect and make up in a janitor's closet. At the same time, Charlie keeps Judith company while she gives birth to a baby girl. Afterward, he tells Chelsea he wouldn't mind having a kid someday himself. Everything seems stable. Charlie has a woman who loves him, a home that's finally starting to feel more than just a place to party, and maybe even a future worth planning for. But knowing Charlie, stability never lasts long. The real question is whether he can hold on to what he's built, or if old habits will tear it all apart. It's now season 7, and Charlie's house is about to get a little more crowded. Charlie notices that Melissa has been spending a lot of time around. She's there when he wakes up, and still there when he goes to bed. Alan keeps denying that she moved in, but everyone knows what's going on. Charlie talks to Chelsea about it, but she says there's no problem with Melissa staying. With Chelsea backing him up, Alan finally stands up to Charlie and Melissa officially moves in.
So Melissa can stay? I mean, move in?
Sure.
Well, all right then.
However, then Alan and Melissa start treating the place like it's theirs. They throw a party without telling Charlie, and that's the last straw for him. So he leaves and spends the night at a hotel. Chelsea calls, but Charlie refuses to come home. Alan and Melissa apologize to Chelsea, and the two women agree to set some ground rules. But then Alan intervenes, claiming that when Charlie's not around, he's in charge. He might be right, but it wasn't a smart move to say that, as Chelsea and Melissa gang up on him, and suddenly Alan finds himself at the exact hotel as Charlie. Now it's war. The brothers come up with a big brain move. They get Evelyn to tell Chelsea that Melissa slept with Charlie before she met Alan. This causes a massive argument between the girls. Melissa moves out for good, and the Harpers are happy to have their house back. I mean, it's Charlie's house, but whatever. 2 weeks later, Melissa tries not to be offended by Alan's cheapness, but it's getting harder. His car is the only place they can be together because Alan won't pay for for a hotel, and Melissa obviously can't bring him around her mother. Desperate for money, Ellen takes a job as Evelyn's assistant, thinking he'll get a piece of real estate action.
Let's go.
No, dear. I say let's go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
He doesn't, but he does take advantage of his position by inviting Melissa to one of the houses they're showing, lying that he's renting the place and that he finally moved out of Charlie's. They hook up, but when Melissa knocks over a glass of wine, Ellen freaks out. His panic isn't enough to give him away, but running out of the house when he hears Evelyn coming definitely does the trick. This time, Melissa leaves Ellen for good, and we never see her in this season again. Some fantastic news though. Evelyn announces she'll handle Charlie and Chelsea's wedding as a gift. They finally have a date set, June 26th at the Bel Air Hotel. Wedding planning should be exciting, but Charlie and Chelsea get into an argument about dancing at the reception. They end up taking dance lessons together, and that's when Charlie discovers something Chelsea never mentioned. She owns multiple properties, 3 to be exact. She might even be richer than him. Well, I'm not exactly sure about that, but she hasn't paid a single bill since moving in, and that's why Charlie is furious. Jake's relationship with Celeste isn't doing much better though. It's Christmas, and Charlie notices Jake looking at some girls on the beach. He gives Jake a hard time for not going down to meet them, reminding him he's only a teenager and shouldn't be tied down so young.
I'm in a committed relationship.
What are you talking about? You're 13.
I'm 15.
Well, who cares? You're too young for a committed relationship.
Jake takes the advice. Unfortunately, Celeste shows up unexpectedly with a present for Jake and finds him with another girl. The new girl exits angrily when she learns about the girlfriend. Celeste leaves in a hurry also, and Charlie lands in hot water with Chelsea for giving Jake such terrible advice. But it's about to get even worse for Charlie. You see, Ellen ends up in jail after a bar fight where a guy tried to steal his date. So then Chelsea makes Charlie hire a lawyer named Brett to get him off. Brett succeeds. And because the process is so quick, instead of asking for money, he invites them to a charity event. The brothers aren't interested, but Chelsea is. And Ellen can see that she's clearly interested in him. So when a couple days later, Chelsea returns home late from yet another charity event with Brett, she and Charlie get into a huge argument about his jealousy.
Brad'll be happy to see us.
Brad?
It's his charity.
He's got another charity? What the hell's this guy's problem?
Chelsea rage quits to spend a few days with her dad, which Charles doesn't handle well at all. He keeps calling her, won't stop thinking about her, and basically becomes depressed. One day, Chelsea asks him to meet for coffee, but Charlie starts drinking so fast that he ends up throwing up like this. Yeah, you guessed it, Chelsea leaves again. Later, a down bad Charlie gets a visit from Evelyn. She tells him Chelsea called to postpone the wedding. For once, Evelyn is actually comforting, saying she loves him and doesn't like seeing him hurt. Soon, Ellen tries to distract Charlie by taking him to the movies, but Chelsea is there with Brad.
Your ex-fiancé out with another guy? Uh-huh. Good-looking guy? Yeah. You're here with your brother.
They follow the couple in a car afterward, like a pair of stalkers, only to discover Chelsea isn't going home with Brad. She's going to Charlie's house. There, Charlie and Chelsea get back together for one night, which leaves Charlie believing they're back for good. Yet, he's wrong. Very, very wrong. Just like what he does next. Charlie runs into Chelsea's friend Gail at a pizza place. They hook up, then Charlie learns that Chelsea is actually having problems with Brad. He meets Chelsea and tells her what he did. Chelsea storms off, then comes to his house to apologize because they aren't together anymore, but storms off again when she thinks Gail is still in Charlie's bedroom.
Gail's upstairs, isn't she?
Once again, we were separated and I was vulnerable.
This time, it's really over. Jake's new friend Eldridge is turning out to be a bad influence when he talks Jake into sneaking out while grounded. By the way, he's like 17 at this point. Do kids still get grounded his age? Anywho, Charlie catches him but lets it slide after Jake compliments the jingle he's working on. Ellen still plans to have a word with Eldridge's mother Lindsay about the situation, but instead of confronting her...
This is Eldridge's mom. I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind.
Hi, I'm here to pick up Eldridge. I hope it wasn't too much trouble.
Trouble? He was an angel.
Ah yes, In the last episode of season 7, it's Chelsea's birthday. Alan is invited, but Charlie's not. So he sends Jake over to deliver a gift. After receiving it, Chelsea goes on an emotional walk outside and finds Charlie being arrested for crashing into a police car. What a way to say hello and goodbye at the same time.
Charlie?
Hey, Charles. Happy birthday.
At the start of season 8, Lindsay tells Alan she loves him and asks him to move in with her. At first he's unsure, but when he learns it would upset Judith, since Lindsay lives just down the road from her, he is down immediately. There's just one problem. On his way to Lindsay's, Alan runs into Melissa at a wine shop.
Alan?
Melissa?
So he lies about being single and takes her back to Charlie's place. And letting go of Melissa proves difficult. Alan keeps seeing her at Charlie's while pretending he still lives there. When Melissa wants to move in with him, Charlie gets even angrier about the situation. Deja vu. Eventually, Alan breaks up with Melissa by text message, plus he finally moves in to Lindsay's. And that same night, guess what? He accidentally sets fire to her curtains. Meaning slowly but surely the whole house goes up in flames. And just like with Judith a couple of years earlier, Lindsay and Eldridge move into Charlie's house for a bit while they figure out what to do.
What'd he do? Burn down your house?
It was an accident.
Things get worse when Lindsay's ex-husband Chris shows up to see the damage done. He and Lindsay start talking about the past. She ends up going for coffee with Chris, and Alan learns she won't be coming back. Also, remember Rose? I'm kidding, of course you remember Rose. Well, she tells Charlie she's marrying someone named Manny Quinn. As per usual, Charlie doesn't believe her. So he and Alan drive to the church where the wedding is supposedly taking place. Through the window, they see Rose getting married, and Charlie is left heartbroken.
My God, she's really doing it. Rose is getting married.
What he doesn't see is that everyone in the church except Rose and the priest are mannequins. The whole thing is fake. Who would have thought? We'll come back to that soon, but for now, Berta takes time off for a family reunion and brings in a replacement named Esmeralda. She turns out to be a much better worker than Berta, and Charlie doesn't want to let her go. But he lacks the courage to fire Berta. Meanwhile, Lindsay decides she doesn't want to get back with her ex-husband after all, and ends up with Alan again. Also, Courtney's back from jail. A big hooray for Charlie, who happily agrees to tag along to Las Vegas, only for her to make the most of his wallet with endless shopping sprees. When Lindsay sees all the gifts Charlie bought Courtney, she wants one herself. But Alan is too broke to afford anything decent. He tries raising money by offering massages at the mall, but blows the small amount he earns on a fake pearl necklace made of mints. Charlie offers Alan money. He refuses. Instead, he gets, let's call it creative, and steals a pair of earrings from Judith. So when both couples somehow show up at the same restaurant, Alan has to think on his feet to hide the earrings.
Get anything special? Well, as a matter of fact...
All right, I just have to say something here.
Meanwhile, Courtney takes Jake shopping with Charlie's credit card against his will. However, Charlie and Courtney both soon realize their relationship has run its course and break up. Over the next few days, Charlie's behavior starts to change noticeably, and he just seems sad. He says maybe it's his fault that none of his relationships work out. I think it's because he misses either Chelsea or Rose. Well, a few months after Rose's wedding, Charlie bumps into her at a supermarket. Old feelings come rushing back, and Charlie realizes he's in love with her. He goes to her house, but she turns him away. So Charlie ironically stalks her, even climbs over her balcony the way she used to climb over his. Rose keeps rejecting him, saying she's a married woman now and must stay faithful to Manny. However, eventually, Rose agrees to secretly see him whenever her husband isn't home. Alan convinces Charlie to give him $5,000, claiming it's for advertising to grow his business so he can finally move out. After realizing how easy it was, he pulls the exact same move on Evelyn. Looking back at it, it's so funny how two millionaires trusted their broke family member with their hard-earned money. But anyway, he then repeats the pitch with Harper and later Berta. Alan temporarily returns the money, presenting it as impressive returns, which tricks everyone into thinking the system actually works. Feeling confident, they rush to reinvest even more, completely unaware they've fallen into a textbook setup, with Alan recycling their own money to keep the illusion alive. But it wasn't long before he found himself going to church to have his sins forgiven after tricking his family out of thousands of dollars. The priest suggests he comes clean to them, but Alan refuses. Meanwhile, Charlie's tired of sneaking around with Rose and suggests they take a weekend trip to Paris. Looks like Rose is finally getting what she's been wanting for all those long 8 years. Now, Alan tries to come clean to Charlie, but Charlie reveals that Rose wants to invest too, so Alan keeps on lying. But he's surprised when Rose shows up at his office and discovers the truth.
Alan, what are you doing?
Oh, what do you mean? I'm just taking a break between patients.
Alan fears that Rose will reveal the scheme and attempts to rat her out to her husband. However, when he gets to Rose's crib, he quickly discovers that Manny is a mannequin and realizes Rose has been deceiving Charlie.
This is your husband? This is Manny Quinn? Oh my God, Manny Quinn.
Rose offers Alan enough money to repay everyone involved if he stays silent. At first, Alan refuses, unwilling to betray his brother. However, once he returns home, the pressure is up. Bertha demands to be paid, and Charlie says he wants to propose to Rose in the French capital. When Alan warns Charlie that it's a terrible idea, Charlie lashes out and mocks him for still living in the house, which is why Alan ultimately accepts Rose's offer and keeps the truth to himself. Charlie and Rose go off on a weekend getaway to Paris, which ultimately results in Charlie's tragic passing in the season 9 premiere. But if you care about the post-Charlie era, then, well, here it is. A tech billionaire Walden Schmidt buys Charlie's Malibu house. He lets Alan stay for some reason. Jay goes to the army. Alan has an on-again, off-again relationship with Lindsay. In season 11, it's revealed that Charlie has a daughter. In season 12, Alan and Walden adopt a child together, and in the end, it's revealed that Charlie didn't pass away, but that he was being held at Rose's new place. One day he escapes and warns Alan and Walden that he's coming for them. But when he's about to enter his old house, a piano falls on him, and then on the show's creator. What a great ending, really.